Good up.
This is Channel 253. Beep, boop, boop.
On this episode of the Grit and Grain Podcast.
If you want to talk about like experience versus like dollars spent, like you can get a red blend or whatever from like Bevmo for $22, or you can like come to Peaks and buy a bottle of this for probably the same price.
Sort of goes further too.
It
mean,
does.
you know, bottle of wine, you know, any one of us could take down in a night.
So true.
This might be a little rougher.
It's called Sunday.
Yeah.
Did you know Channel 253 is member supported? I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you.
Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, coming to you guys from Peaks and Pints in Tacoma, Washington. Woo! My name is Matt McClain. I know. We're so excited to be here, bro. It's not cold or anything. My name's Matt McLaren. I'm here, as you heard, with Ron Swarner.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great. Oh, the tangled web we weave this week.
Ron's had a good week. Ron said a swear word to me yesterday. It was wild.
Which one?
The F word. Yeah. He said frick. Yeah, I don't think I had either. I like my jaw got really tight for a second when I read it. I was just like, oh my God.
Wait, he didn't actually say it?
No, he didn't say it out loud. I read it. He texted it to me. I imagine that's how he got away with it. Bethany, how's it going?
Good.
And Phaedra, you guys hear Phaedra on mic too.
Hi, I'm here. Hello.
And Doug's on mic too.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, so as you might have guessed, there's no guest. There was one, but there's not now. So we're going to do something different.
Drink beer.
That's why Ron said a cuss word to me.
That's exactly why I said it. Although we love you, Don. We hope you come on. We really do.
Wasn't going to say it, but that's
Yes.
fine. No, we do.
Yeah.
We know you're busy, and it's okay because we had a half-baked backup plan ready to go anyway. So yeah, we're gonna do something a little bit different for this one. Since there's no guest, we've talked about like getting into some sort of like informational type episodes. We know there's a bunch of people that listen that probably know a lot of stuff about beer already, but there's a ton of people who listen who probably don't know everything that we're talking about or have references for a lot of the stuff that we mention here. So we're gonna try and pepper some of that stuff in as time goes. So since it's seasonally appropriate, today we're going to talk about deciding on dark beers.
It's not a half-baked plan. It's a fully roasted plan.
That's which
Nice one,
that's
Doug.
really good,
Isn't it?
Doug. It's fully roasted,
Malted and
just
roasted.
like the malts. In
Just
these
like
beers.
us in 1 hour.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we have we're going to talk about 6 different styles of dark beer, which isn't even all of them, but we found mostly local examples of both traditional and contemporary styles of dark beer. And it's really difficult sometimes when you come into a place like Peaks and Pints or you go to Tacoma Boys, and if Donna's not there to tell you what the fuck to buy, you're looking at a shelf full of 1,000 different things. And if you're looking at dark beers for the season, you might not totally know what you're in for or what you're getting when you spend, $3 versus $22. So we have beers that kind of run the gamut, and we're going to tell you a little bit about each one of them.
You said $3.
I know, that was, yeah. There's no dark beers for $3.
There's no beer anywhere for $3.
No, Yingling is
Except
the
in
darkest beer you can get for $3.
I got some in Montana when we were there. We had $3 beers.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, that was silly. $7 at least. But yeah, well, I guess, what are you guys drinking? What are we drinking?
Besides the Heater Island pills.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
are pre-funking with pale beer.
Oh, yeah.
Or do you
Yeah.
both have Heater Island
It's a
pills?
palate
Yeah.
cleanser.
I do too.
That's
I
a
just
good
have
call.
a baby one. I have it as well.
You guys all have Heater Island pills? I feel
Yep.
fucking left out.
Not me, Matt. I'm with you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Solidarity, Doug.
Got some water.
Samesies. Well, yeah. So besides that, we're drinking a dark mild, which is one of my favorite beers from one of my favorite local breweries, actually, Machine House. You guys have heard Bill on this podcast before. Hopefully, if you haven't, you should go back and listen.
Early episode.
Very early episode. Fantastic human being. And makes really some of the best like English style beer that you can find in all of Washington. So we're super spoiled to have that dude around here. And he's like, you've heard other brewers that we've had on talk about how Bill makes some of their favorite beer. So he's very much like your favorite brewer's favorite brewer. So I'm excited to talk about his beer a little bit.
Have you been to his new spot yet?
I have. I just went like 2 weeks ago, and it's where I had my first dark mild in like a couple of months because they all had to like pause production and stuff. And we haven't had bottles. As some of you guys might remember, I get to work with Bill. I distribute his beer, which I'm very, very blessed to be able to do. And so I get to drink his beer a lot. And I didn't for a while, and I felt really deprived of that delicious malty goodness. And then I got to have it off of the engine at his new spot, and it was perfect. It was like shitty and rainy outside, which is like perfect dark mild weather.
Tasteful label on the bottle too, I might add.
I know, it's gorgeous.
It's very handsome.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, like, what do you guys smell? What do you guys taste? Like, what are the? I know it's all chocolate.
Mine's gone. Mine's gone. And I can't
chocolatey.
remember.
I know, we're gonna.
The nose is wonderful.
Toffee roast. It's got a really nice
Definitely
dry
toffee.
finish.
And that's what I was saying. I
Super
said it's dry.
Yeah, it is.
It's really,
It is.
I like that.
Bill's is actually it's really hard because you can't even really find like European versions in Washington. Like you can find Sam Smith's type stuff and a few other like imported delicious European beers, but even in that sort of realm, there's not a lot of dark mild coming anywhere. So yeah, if you're gonna get one, it's usually gonna be by a local brewery. Steeplejack makes them, Skookum makes them occasionally, Upright has made them. And they're all fantastic. Like they're all delicious. But yeah, it's like super low ABV, really traditional, like bready, toasty English malt. And then usually like not as much hop character, but actually Bill kind of bumps his hop
This
character a
has
little
some.
bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
was gonna
Which
say
is
that.
like, it's more so than traditional, but I kind of like it. I like sort of that robust sort of hop character.
But it's not forward at all.
No.
I love it. Leaves you wanting to drink another sip,
Totally.
like the bitterness.
And the lightest one of the
Yeah,
six
it's pretty.
we have.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I know when you hold like really good dark mild, and actually some English stout is like this too, or not English stout, but Irish stout, which we don't have here. But that like ruby red color that you get when you hold it up to paper, hold it up to the light, is like it's always like a tell of like a very good example to me.
Yeah.
Is like very clear, very crisp, and then has this like sort of ruby red glow behind it. I love it.
They're kind of like the original session beer, but don't use that word. Pretend I didn't say the word session. But right? I mean,
Please
they're
still
like
buy
the-
this beer.
It's 3.7 coming in at.
That's it? Really? Oh.
Yeah, they're super light. They have a ton of flavor, but they're. I mean, that's like the whole thing with a lot of English styles is they really don't get up to like American standard ABV levels because the idea is that you go to the pub and you hang out for a few hours, and if you go to the
But
pub
it doesn't
and
drink. It doesn't drink like that, though, right?
No,
I
it's
feel like it
more flavor.
It's got more punch to it, or whatever. but
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like dark mild is probably the most food friendly beer in this lineup here. Like it goes with all kinds of shit. Like
Fish and
it's-
chips?
I know, yeah, definitely fish and chips. That's actually a good one because seafood and dark beer go way better together than a lot of people would assume. Dark mild and oysters, dark mild and mussels, dark mild and fish and chips is no joke a really, really good pairing because dark malt is like naturally a little bit acidic, and so you kind of get like if you squeeze lemon on any kind of seafood, it will probably taste really good with like a sharp sort of light dark beer like a dark mild or an Irish stout.
Now I'm hungry.
I've got Guinness stew at home. Would it work with that, do you think?
Guinness stew at home?
Yeah.
It would taste, I mean, it would be really tough to tell where the beer started in the stew.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Which is like, that's a good pairing sometimes. It just depends on like what you're going for, but
Yeah.
it would be delicious.
Oh, what have we now?
I know. We're moving. We're gonna move through.
Right, rinsing our glasses, and I've got the E9 O'Leary's Coffee Milk Stout.
Yum. I'm excited for that.
I love this beer. Hey Bethany, what's a milk stout?
Well,
Put on the spot.
it's
Why
definitely
isn't it
got
called milk?
definitely has lactose in it, so the milk sugar, and it is unfermentable or mostly unfermentable in beer, causing it, giving it a lot of residual sweetness to it.
You ready for some sciencey shit?
Yeah.
So lactose is, like she said, it's mostly unfermentable. And the reason that people use lactose in some beers, which you guys might remember Brian Strumke from Stillwater talking about it on the podcast. And he has the same take on it that I do, because there's a lot of consumers that, like, if they see lactose on a beer label, they just get turned off immediately. They're like, oh, I don't, like, you know, even if they're not intolerant, they're just like, oh, I don't want lactose in my beer. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be weird. It's going to be thick and chewy or creamy or whatever. But it's really just a balancing ingredient. And when you use lactose in beer, because it's not fermentable, the sweetness from lactose stays in the beer. That's why it's such a common addition for things like stouts that want a little bit of like balancing sweetness. But even IPAs.
Smoothie sours.
Yeah, smoothie sours. You know.
Matt's favorite.
Yeah, my favorite.
Balances out the bitterness
It does.
and the roasted
Really well.
rustiness.
The reason that it is not fermentable is because it is a complex dextrin and it is not a small enough sugar molecule for yeast to fit it in its mouth, basically. So there's monosaccharides and there's polysaccharides. All monosaccharides are fermentable. Some polysaccharides are fermentable, and really no dextrins are fermentable. And the more chains you have on your sugar molecule, the less likely it is that yeast can fit it in its mouth and turn it into alcohol. So lactose is the most consistent sweet, like balancing, sweetening ingredient that you can put into beer.
There's definitely something in there turning it into alcohol, though. I can taste that.
So yeah, there's still other sugars from the actual base malt.
Is that 7%? 7%?
Super, really awesome coffee nose right off the. Oh,
Yeah, that's-
smells like a nice fresh cup of coffee,
That's
It
so
does.
fucking good.
and it
It's wonderful.
tastes like you
It
put
does.
milk and sugar in it.
Dude, yeah.
it does.
Yep.
Absolutely does.
Yeah, it's more. It's not like I always think Dark Mild kind of does this, and then some like Czech dark lagers do this, but like that cold brew, like crisp sort of cold brew sort of character. I don't get that as much in like coffee milk stouts. It's like a latte almost, like which I think is like the idea. It's like a little bit creamy still, and not as like sharp and dry as like a straight up, you know, cold brew coffee. It's so good.
That is
It's
absurdly good.
really good.
And invented by a French pharmacist.
Wait, what?
O'Leary?
Lactose.
Oh, lactose. I was like, wait, coffee or
The name O'Leary?
yeah.
What?
Could have sworn it was Irish.
Pharmacist O'Leary.
Oh, the confusion on all of our faces was like,
I know.
wait, what did he just say?
It's the two lightest beers, and we're just already like,
I know, yeah.
So good.
yeah, this is so good. This is E9. So Kevin from Balebreaker on his episode was talking about how their breakfast stout was unusually popular this year, and I was talking to E9, and they said the same exact thing. They've had to do more runs of O'Leary's than they have in a long time, just because for some reason these like dark beers are just cranking, especially throughout the summer. And I was joking with Kevin that it's part of my job to know what those trends come from, and this is like one that I did not pinpoint at all. But yeah, for some reason breakfast stouts are just killing it this year.
Yeah, it's the last
delicious.
can in the stout of.
Yeah,
in the
it's
house
so
of that.
good.
Oh, quick.
Did the Elysian split shot, is that kind of where one of the originals? Espresso?
Not an original,
milk
but
stouts?
definitely like the original big one out here.
I remember drinking that back in
Yeah.
the day. Like, this is amazing. This is so cool.
I'm going to call back to that during my fuck up story today, because I have a fucking doozy. That has nothing to do with me cutting my finger on an Elysian bottle, which you guys will hear all about next week.
Oh, it hasn't aired, yeah.
No, it hasn't aired yet, but that's okay.
Guatemalan and Sumatra coffee in this thing from Cafe Vita.
From which, where
Cafe
again?
Cafe
Vita.
Vita.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right on.
It's so good. So milk stouts are delicious, and you like again, anytime you see lactose or milk stout or something like that, don't immediately turn it off. If it's a really good brewery like E9, trust that it is probably just a very good, balanced beer, no matter what is in it. And O'Leary's is like such a good example.
Yeah.
I honestly forgot how much I enjoyed this beer.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's superb.
I was trying to think of specific, like, there's so many stouts that are just like, you know, called milk stout or cream stout you might see sometimes, like Lucky Envelope we talk about sometimes.
Yeah.
They make a peanut butter cream stout, but a lot of their flavored stouts they all have lactose balance. They just released their gingerbread cream stout, which is so goddamn good. It's so good. But yeah, same thing. Super light. It's like 6.5%, so it's not as like heavy and chewy and like alcohol heat. It's like really light, but then it just has these wonderful gingerbready or peanut buttery flavors, and then a little bit of balancing sweetness. So yeah,
I wish we had a Lucky Envelope stout to drink. They make really awesome stouts.
I have one.
Ron's got one.
Maybe a bonus round.
Oh yeah, their almond pandan.
The one I had
It's
at Delightful Market. at
insane.
night.
Exactly.
Insane.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. It's so
delightful.
good.
It was delightful.
I know. I'm gonna sweet talk Barry into coming down and hanging out with us one of these Wednesdays. Because yeah, they make some of my favorite beer in Washington, honestly. Beer number 3. We're probably cranking through these
We are.
too fast.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Go for it.
Down.
Well, we can keep talking about stouts.
I know. I can talk about dark beer all day. It's like
Ron can run and get more.
That's very true.
he does
Didn't I see a
have
big
the
cooler
ability for that.
out front?
You could stretch this out.
There was a few in there.
Oh my.
What are you pouring?
All right, we have got Nightmare Cyclist, which is a Schwarzbier.
Yes.
Love a Schwarzbier. Yum.
Fortside just made a Schwarzbier called We Wear Short Shorts.
Nice.
And it's might be my favorite beer name of this whole year, dude.
That's
Love
really
it.
So good.
Very good.
This is
Well,
one
it's
of
one
my.
of the oldest styles. Schwartz.
This is one of the oldest styles.
800 BC.
Yeah.
That old.
Didn't know it was that old.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is as soon as they figured out that malts kilned a little extra hard over the fire, tasted good in beer. They were like, "Yo, we're doing this."
Let's do this.
Oh, it's great.
For anybody who doesn't know, again, we know that a lot of our listeners know this stuff, but for anybody who doesn't, the reason that dark beer is dark is because the malt gets roasted longer at a hotter temperature in the kiln after it gets processed otherwise. So the reason that you get like, you know, if you hear somebody break down the flavors of any kind of dark beer, you're going to hear stuff like chocolate, like coffee, or like toasted rye, things like that. Those are all things that have these like extra roasty flavors. You roast coffee beans, you roast cocoa beans, and you bake bread and it has this crusty sort of crust on it. And so all of the flavors that are created during those processes are the exact same flavors that are created when you kiln barley or malt. So it's all of the same compounds, all the same chemical reactions. They just end up in beer instead of in a chocolate bar. But yeah, that's what makes dark beer so fucking good.
Yeah.
This is so light.
It's perfect.
It is. So Schwarzbier is the first. It's the first actual like dark lager that we have in the lineup, and really the first dark lager ever.
Caveman shit.
Sorry, Germany.
So good.
But yeah, this is Wander's version. They do this every year, like around like fall Halloween-y time, and it is awesome. Wander is low key one of the best lager producers in Washington. They have like GABF gold medals for some of their lagers, and so this is like a great example of like the thing that they are very good at. And this is like excellent. This is what I think when I think of cold brew.
Iron Age would be an Iron Age. Seriously,
That's true.
It's the Iron Age
There you
in
go.
Europe.
Yeah, super light. Still actually kind of has like some of the ruby red rim on the outside. Just like the dark mild does. Like if you hold it over paper. But yeah, super light, super clean. There's no balancing sweetness in this at all, so it's like just crisp and dry, and has a little bit of like sharp kind of coffee acidity, which I love. And this is what I think of when I think of like beer that reminds me of cold brew coffee. It's like a Schwarzbier.
Yeah.
It's good. It also has Czech sauce in it.
Yeah, we already talked about it's a lager. Did we talk about?
We did.
Yeah.
It is a lager.
Okay. Yeah.
And we said it was
It's
a lager,
nice.
but we didn't say what makes it a lager.
Yeah, Bethany, what
The
makes it a lager?
The type of yeast that is used. Then it is brewed at colder temperatures, fermented at colder temperatures.
That's right. Which will actually be important to distinguish between those two things for a beer that we have coming up later in the lineup, actually. So yeah, difference between lagers and ales is the type of yeast and the temperature that it's fermented at. For things like a Schwarzbier, it's fermented really cold, and then it's lagered, so it's held at cold temperature, so all of the proteins and stuff precipitate and they settle at the bottom of the tank. And then you drain this very clear, almost filtered-looking beer out, and so that's why you get these very like clear, crisp-looking beers that have almost no haze at all.
Can you talk about that type of yeast as opposed to an ale yeast? I mean, what makes it different other than that it has to work in colder temperatures?
So, Bethany, I saw you going. Go for it.
So the lager yeast is going to produce as it's eating the sugars in the beer, it produces their byproducts are much cleaner of byproducts. So you don't get with ales, you get a lot of like fruity esters, a lot of phenols, and with lagers, it's just a much cleaner, like more mellow flavor.
So that's just a characteristic of the yeast itself and how it performs.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So Bethany, when you're brewing and you're using your malts and you're blending your malts to get the color, but then you go through all the processes like throughout the brewing that's constantly changing the color, right? So do you plan for that? Because it's going to start getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So do you
as you're running, what do you mean?
As you're going, so you're going off the boil and then you're cold crashing it, and then it's getting lighter. Is that true?
I haven't noticed that as much. It gets darker when you boil it,
Yeah.
so you have to account for that a little bit. But
If you're aiming for a specific color, you got to take into account more than just the malts, right? Or is that wrong?
Not necessarily.
I haven't. But I'm just one brewer.
Her beers are perfect.
Bethany also made, in my opinion, probably the best Schwarzbier that anybody's made in Tacoma.
It's
just
true.
for anybody who's questioning.
thanks.
Yeah.
Greer, I got to give a lot of credit to Greer on that one. It was his recipe.
Yeah.
I think he
That
was in there brewing
fucking-
it that day. Yeah.
That whole Motherfern lineup was really great, but the Schwarzbier was fucking exceptional.
Thanks.
Raise a glass to Motherfern.
That was my
Yeah, we drank a lot of that. But yeah, no, do you have anything else to say about the color of the beer?
No, I mean that's
Just during cold breaks and filtration.
So darker and lighter, and then more opaque and less opaque are kind of like weird differences in beer because as you're cold crashing, the color might change, but it's more about how opaque the beer
Clarity.
is versus like it's a clarity thing
Okay.
more than color, and the color is going to change, in a finished beer with the clarity, especially if there's light or no light, or the paint on the walls could change the color of a clear beer sometimes. So when you're cold crashing, it's more about the clarity than the color.
Got it.
It's delicious.
Yeah. We were talking about lager and ale yeast, and if you guys are and as Bethany said, ale yeast produces a lot more esters and a lot more like phenols. Esters are the fruity flavors, like she said, and then phenols are like the spiced flavors. So things like clove, nutmeg, cinnamon type of flavors, even like smokiness or pepperiness can come from phenols. And the reason the ale yeast is so it has such a proclivity to produce those flavors is because it's really active. It ferments at warmer temperatures, and the warmer your yeast is, the more active it is. If it's too warm, it can be way too active and produce tons of off flavors or esters that you don't want in your beer. So you have to keep it at the right temperature. When you're using lager yeast or you're fermenting ales at colder temperatures, which we have a beer like that coming up in just a minute, the yeast is just producing less of those flavors. So the difference in the finished beer is actually much more that your beer is really grain focused in flavor and aroma and less like yeast focused. So less fruit aromas, less spice aromas, and just like toasty, bready grain, or sometimes the stuff that comes from the hops. But that's really exemplified in something like a Schwarzbier because it's just straight like toasty bread, cold brew coffee, and like bitter dark chocolate, which all come from the toasty grain.
So would you say there's less chance for off flavors or things to go wrong with a lager?
Yeah.
Because it seems like I hear, though, that when brewers talk about lagers, and it's like you can't hide behind much, right? Either you get it or you don't get it.
Kind of.
Right?
Yeah. Kind of.
And then, but I just didn't know if maybe lagers are easier in that they have less opportunity to produce the off flavors or to be problematic or...
Easier, I guess, how? Since it does sit for a long time, as long as the processes are all sound, hopefully the yeast cleans up any off flavors.
Yeah.
So it does have that, I guess, potential to do that. But you're right. There's not a lot to hide behind with the lagers because they're clean, easy drinking. So they don't hide flaws very well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not, you can't, like we talked about, I guess you guys won't hear it, but you will hear it. But you guys haven't heard it. But we talked about like the ability to hide behind, It's like the ability to hide behind a bunch of extra shit that you can throw in beer.
Into it. So
that doesn't exist.
You can't throw a bunch of shit into the lager.
Not
is what
really.
You're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Unless you're making like, I don't know, a West Coast Pilsner because you fucked up something. if you want to do, but like nobody does that.
Right.
The thing that you can get with lagers is because they are fermented at such cold temperatures, there are some off flavors that are really volatile at higher temperatures, and so like in an ale you have much less chance of like hydrogen sulfide to remain in your beer, sometimes even like DMS, which is another sulfur compound. With lagers, because it ferments really cold and it sits at a really cold temperature, those things don't have a chance to actually volatilize. So you might crack a beer open and it smells like fucking eggs for like the first 30 seconds that the beer is open. But if it's sitting at room temperature and the beer kind of warms up a little bit, those things will dissipate really quickly. But those are the kind of off flavors that you can probably expect in some lagers. And in some cases, like really traditional Czech lagers, it's actually part of the style guidelines. You might get sulfur compounds in this style, this style, this style. So yeah, it's easy. It's like easy in some way, but in another way, like you still run the risk of getting off flavors in a lager, even if all of your stuff is correct.
Okay. Cool.
By the look of the bin, it looks like we're halfway through our...
Perfect. That means it's break time.
Well, what do you know?
Yeah, well, shit. Hang out. We'll be back. We have three more fantastic beers to talk about. At least three more.
I heard.
I guess there's a bonus beer sitting in front of us, too. But yeah, stick around. We'll be right back.
Good up.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out during the break. I get a chance to redo my goofy thing that I said about Channel 253. Thanks, Doug. If you're one of the people who skips through the ad breaks, shame on you, like Doug said. But also, please do check out Channel 253.
This alternative universe you're describing.
I know. Nobody's ever going to hear it. Nobody's ever going to hear it. But no, if you do skip through the breaks, I'm going to repeat. Check out Channel 253. It's fantastic. We're having 10%.
It might be better this time around.
I know. Is that going to stop recording again?
I'm not as long as I'm watching it. It's like
I know. It's like
the boiling
I'm
pot.
watching it too. The two of us together.
We have a little technical difficulties. Just in case you're wondering what this
we're
is
totally
about.
not.
We just have to keep drinking beer.
I'm just keep
That's all that
mentioning them.
matters.
What are you pouring over there,
But I know.
Bethany?
Jesus Christ.
Now we have the Pujala Baltic Porter Day
From Estonia.
from Estonia.
Nice job. You
Good
did
recovery.
It.
Yeah.
You did it. And we decided, coconut.
Is really coconutty.
Coconut.
Does not say anything. There's no coconut in it, but it says it's aged on Palo Santo wood. Maybe that has coconut.
That's super coconutty.
Characteristics.
Yeah, that's those
Coming
like
from-
rum
okay.
sugar kind of
I
flavors.
brilliantly, see what's happening?
This one.
I very wisely said that it tastes like a fruitcake.
That's
Like a rummy
true.
fruitcake.
Somebody said that once. off mic.
It's delicious.
It is delicious, and it's we have mostly local beers here, but we wanted to grab one that was actually like we have access to actual Baltic porters from the region where they were invented and produced. So it was cool to actually be able to drink one. But there are really good local examples. Old Schoolhouse just made their Stygian Tide Baltic Porter, and then Varietal has Dark Guardian Baltic Porter out right now. So it's like Baltic Porter is one of my favorite styles, and it's cool to see a bunch of local guys producing them because it's just great to have a lot of options. Wander actually does one. We just had a Wander beer a second ago, and they do Global Mutt, which is a Baltic Porter with Theo's chocolate in it, which is so good, man.
And it's coming from the Baltic Sea region. Is that correct?
Correct.
Baltic Porters.
So I think England, they sent. What was that?
Doug wanted to hear your Michael Jackson fact.
Oh, that's right. All right. So Michael Jackson actually named.
Jackson. Sorry.
10%. Also named. They named it Baltic Porter.
Yeah. So Michael Jackson, the very famous beer author, not the pop singer, not he.
Not the man in the mirror.
Not the hee-hee.
Not the fan in the mirror. Yeah, Michael Jackson, very famous beer author and just world traveler. He went everywhere. He learned everything he could about beer, and then published a bunch of fantastic books about it. And apparently was just peas in a pod with Charles
Guide
Finkel.
of Beer.
Yeah. And yeah, I thought the Baltic Porter was coined in like the 90s, but he wrote about it in the 70s.
1977 is World Guide of Beer.
Dang, man.
Wow.
Well, yeah. Why?
So he coined it as opposed to the brewers or the brewers.
Yeah, they probably just called it porter.
Just porter.
Yeah.
They were like,
Well, so England was making porter for a long time, and they were exporting it to like all of the countries that surrounded the Balkan Sea. And when that got interrupted, all of those countries were like, "Hey, we can't get this
need some
anymore.
more beer.
We're
Got
gonna
it."
make our own." And so, like independently. And like individually, all of those countries basically developed their own style of porter, and they actually had a ton of overlap, which is really unusual. But you know, they're really different and characteristic from a lot of other really dark beers. We talked about the difference between ale and lager yeast, and this beer kind of plays with that quite a bit. But when Michael Jackson was writing about it, it was just beers produced indigenously and independently in countries surrounding the Baltic Sea.
cool.
Yep. So yeah,
We have an audience question.
what's the audience question?
Do Baltic porters as well as England have to use certain ingredients? They have a limited amount of ingredients they can use?
No. So the question was if they need to be called Baltic porters, do they need to have certain ingredients? That's not really the case, but it also can kind of depend on where they're made. So like Russia has specific laws about how beer can be produced, and it's ale yeast fermented at cold temperatures is like a production law in Russia. But for all of Baltic porters, in general, they're actually a lager and ale kind of crossover, similar to like Kolsch. You can produce them with ale or lager yeast, but they're almost always cold fermented, and then they actually cold crash and lager like a lager does. So what you're left with is a super clear, very light drinking beer, but it's usually like 6 to like 8% sometimes. This one is actually 10%. I imagine because it was aged on oak and had to take on some extra flavor. But yeah, there's no like specific laws. There's no like Reinheitsgebot for Baltic beers. But
Might this be a good idea to explain the difference between a porter and a stout? Because I think some people go, "Oh, it's a dark beer."
that's I know. Yeah.
Potato.
Okay.
Just a stout porter.
So no, the answer is no.
Well, so there's differences now for sure, and like the beer world is full of like people love stories. People over romanticize beer all the time, and so there's you should look up the history of Orville when you get a chance. The people love that story, and it's just all like Lord of the Rings shit. But yeah, in general, porters were made for a really long time. Very dark, fantastic beers. And there was eventually stout porters, which were just like a little beefier, a little roastier, probably had some extra hops in them, and then eventually just started being called stout. But dark beers that were very similar to what people were calling stout porters or stouts were being made in other places too. But yeah, in general, like contemporary versions, like the big difference between porter and stout would just be porters are usually less roasty, so you have more like chocolatey, toasty flavors, and are usually not as like hoppy or bitter. So you'll get a lot less just like robust flavor. Stouts generally, depending on where you get them from, will be roastier, darker, have those like kind of dark, bitter chocolate and coffee flavors, and then oftentimes will be like a bit more bitter from hop additions as well.
And a bit stronger sometimes, not always.
Yeah,
but
not
sometimes
always,
the alcohol content is bigger in stouts, but not always.
When they want to send them over to Catherine the Great,
Yeah.
they make imperial stouts.
Yeah, which
Yeah, put them in barrels and send it over.
which we're gonna get to in a minute.
Okay. Didn't know if we were jumping the gun there.
But
it's
the Pajala from Estonia was founded in 2011, and before they opened, they were brewing at Brewdog.
Contracting.
Any comments?
Questions?
No, Brewdog, they were
they're-
hot shit for a minute.
Sure. Especially among squirrels.
Everybody remembers those taxidermy beers that people used to write BuzzFeed articles about.
Exactly. Clickbait.
Yeah, seriously. The strongest beer in the world is poured from a beaver carcass. Like, okay, internet.
Here it comes, Matt.
Yeah, we're gonna.
The next,
What do you have right there?
the next product has been drawn from the box. Uh-oh. Stop the presses. For those of you not here, Ron
Yoink that beer.
has fled. He's fled.
Wow.
with the beer.
Ron just snatched that beer right
Yeah,
out of
dude,
my
that
hand.
was wild.
Realized he got me the wrong beer, so us the wrong beer. So he's running back to the cooler.
Yeah, I guess before he gets back, we'll talk about CDA in a little bit.
Should be yes, black IPA or what are they calling it? I don't know. Great Notion.
So it's Great Notion, and it's actually a collab with Steeplejack, another fantastic brewery in Portland, who has like just been killing it. And we're going to be talking to somebody from those guys pretty
Have you
soon, too.
been to that?
I have. And it's fucking gorgeous, man.
so
oh my
amazing.
god, it's
Yeah.
like one of the most beautiful places to
Yeah,
drink a beer.
it's-
Hey, cool. Thanks, Ron.
This one's more
You
pink.
could have left the open. I mean,
Yeah, where'd the other one go?
I gave it to Nicole.
So yeah, we're stepping away from like stouts and porters and getting into like locally, sort of like a local history type of beer that was really invented here. Sorry, I'm rinsing. I rinse beer. I'm terrible.
Wow. That's fancy.
Jesus.
That's fancy.
So yeah, Great Notion and Steeplejack made Pink Sabbath, which is a black IPA, or a CDA, which stands for Cascadian Dark Ale. Was it Deschutes that coined that? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but American Black Ale and India Black Ale, I think they're also named.
Yeah, for sure. It's just black IPA.
I think
in
I don't know if
BJCP.
Stone was the first with the Sublime Light, and then it's followed by Wookiee, I think.
It was for sure here first.
Was it?
Yeah, because Mac and Jack's had one, Deschutes had one, I think before both of them,
Okay.
before Stone.
I thought Stone was first.
did we talk about the color of beers and stuff that last again since we've been recording?
No, we have
Here is a
not.
perfect example of
Absolutely.
looks can be deceiving on
Right.
beers.
That is
so
super
sure.
true here.
Yeah.
here,
'Cause
here we
this
have
looks
it.
like a stout,
Super dark.
Exactly like
And
but it
it
yeah.
smells
But
like an
it's not.
IPA.
smells like hops. Smells like sea hops. Like Centennial, Cascade.
Smells like sea hops.
Yep.
And then drinks much like an IPA, but
Very
with a
much.
little hint of roast.
Yeah, roasty. A little bit of
What's
roast,
the
malty.
SRM on that guy?
There's actually not really that much roast at all.
Not on the way less than you
Just
think.
like if you had your eyes closed and you drank it, you would be like, "That's just an
know.
IPA." Whoa, it's dark.
You guys might have heard Ron just ask what the SRM is. SRM stands for Standard Reference Method, and it's usually what beer judges are gauging when they're looking at the opacity of a beer or just the color. So low numbers, low SRM, like 2 to 4 is like straw hay colored beer, like Kolsch and light lagers. And then when you get up to like 30 to 40, it's like super dark, can't see through it, like very, very, this is like 28 to 30 probably.
Yeah, there's some red.
Super dark.
It's very dark.
Still.
Still a little bit of red.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can measure beer color with standard reference method, and then people use degrees Lovie bond for grain. So like really high degrees Lovie bond is really dark grain, and very low degrees Lovie bond is like lighter, paler grain. Fun facts with Matt.
Yeah.
Fun facts.
And they're
awesome.
very close in numbers, right? The two.
No, so Lovie bond will get up into the hundreds.
Oh, will it?
Yeah, you'll go from like 10 up to 400.
Okay.
The SRM scale generally goes from like 1 to 40, essentially.
All right.
Oh man, I love CDAs or black IPAs, however you want to like call them. I like CDA because I like the idea. It's romantic to me that it was invented here, even if people don't think that it was. So it's still CDA. But this is one of the first beers that I like. I have this like core memory of I was at Bevmo and I was working the growler station, and we had a Wookiee Jack keg on, which a lot of like nerds will remember that fantastic beer very fondly. But people always used to say, I used to hear people say like, "Oh man, that beer smells so dank. That beer smells like sticky weed." And weed and hops, marijuana and hops are part of the same plant family, and so a lot of the same oils and flavor compounds and aroma compounds are produced in both of those plants. And so especially traditional kind of like old school C hops, like you heard Bethany mention, have a lot of those like overlapping flavors. And so some beer just naturally smells like weed. And I pulled a Wookiee Jack off of the growler station to somebody's growler, and the whole room just filled with this unbelievable aroma of weed. And I was like, oh my God, that's what everybody's been saying. That's what you guys have been talking about? And I must have drank 5 gallons of that beer within like a summer after that. I was just like so hooked on the idea that these like really hoppy beers could just be so fucking expressive. And I wasn't really much of a weed smoker, but I just loved that. And this actually kind of reminds me of it. Oh man.
Yeah, once you start putting words to what you're tasting, sometimes, well, assuming it's what you're tasting is good, it makes it more enjoyable, you know? Like you're thinking like, oh, I'm just drinking an IPA, but then you think, well, this kind of smells like marijuana or whatever, like grapefruit, melon, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that is.
If a painting has a title, it takes on a different meaning.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, word, Doug. That's a bar. I like that.
This is one of my favorite styles too. Not many places do them.
No, they don't.
I like 7 Seas a lot. I'm going to throw that out
Seven
there.
Seas is a good one. Dude, you know who else does a really good one actually is Logan Brewing. Logan is fantastic. They actually won, I want to say they won gold or silver at Washington Beer Awards a year or two ago for theirs. Super young, talented brewer. But so one of the things that I think is really cool about CDAs or black IPAs is the idea that like, if you ever had like a bougie cup of coffee, which a lot of us have living in Washington, I'm sure, but like single origin, usually medium or blonde roast coffee has these like citrusy and fruity flavors that aren't always expressed in some of the earlier styles that we've just been trying, right? We talked about like how lagers are really grain focused. Coffee milk stout might still have some of that, but you have these other sort of adjunct and additional flavors that kind of cover up things like the flavors that you might get in just a straight single origin medium roast coffee. So like grapefruit, orange zest, lemon, blueberry. All of those flavors exist in really good coffee. And I think the closest you can get to that kind of expression in a dark beer is with a CDA.
Yeah.
And so Logan is really good at that. They don't go too heavy with the roast. It's lighter than this. It's like much more like medium roast looking if you had a cup of coffee in a clear glass. And then they don't go super crazy with the hops either. It's very like citrusy, not crazy bitter, very well balanced. And I love the idea. And I actually talked to the brewer about it, and I was like, this is what I love about CDAs. He was like, that's exactly what I was going for, is I wanted like a single origin, like very nice, like Ethiopian coffee bean. Like that's what I wanted people to think of. So I love that. And it's CDAs are uniquely good at like bringing that sort of character to the beer. and Logan is uniquely good at doing it.
God, I'm getting smart. If I can remember it all.
Those flavors all go so well together. So citrusy and roasty, and there's not many other beers where those are like showcased. Really.
Totally.
And they're hard to make. I'll say when I've made black IPAs. So if you were to put a normal amount of dark malts in, like you were making a porter, it would be way too roasty. So
Totally.
a lot of brewers will mash stain. So they'll take the dark malts and just sparge with it, but they won't actually add it to the whole grist bill, and that just basically extracts most of the color, but not a lot of the astringent bitterness.
Yep.
So it's
Bethany,
not as
what is
roasty.
sparge? What does that mean?
Oh,
That might be another episode, actually. There's
in the mash,
Tentacles of knowledge.
you're basically rinsing the grain to
you
get
go.
all the sugars off of
That
it.
works.
Yeah, and when you're running off into the kettle.
It's true. In 3 stages, they are each unique.
Why is this dark beer called pink?
I don't
Simmer.
know that.
It's a pink
It's a
boots
pink boots
club.
beer.
Oh yeah, I did read about that. Yeah. That's
With
awesome.
steeplejack.
So you're. What's funny about this too is you're totally right about like the astringent kind of like bitterness that you don't necessarily want in a black IPA, and actually that's another kind of unique characteristic of early Baltic porters is they all use debittered roasted malt, which is like it's kind of an unusual thing, especially for like historical examples. But basically, you remove most of the husk from the barley, which is like where a lot of the astringent sort of bitter compounds come from, and then you roast it, and so you get dark color, but you don't get bitterness. And it's basically 2 methods of getting to the same, the same end point is changing color, but without extracting a bunch of like unpleasant bitterness or astringent flavors.
Yes.
Sweet. On to one more. I was trying to think of who else makes like a CDA
Another pretty
or a
bottle.
black IPA year round, and I can't think of it. 7 Seas, Logan.
Seven Seas doesn't. I like their black IPA.
It's
though.
good?
It's good.
Stone
Yeah.
makes a great one.
Stone.
Not
Do they
local,
still make
but-
it?
Yes, they do.
They do?
They brought it back. Mitch Steele was the first to make that.
Didn't we just have? I feel like we just had one.
You want to introduce it, Ron?
You're like, no, he wasn't, Ron. I've done nothing.
We got a very opaque
There you go.
Imperial Stout. Yes, we're drinking.
Ron was white. Ron was right. Ron was white. Thank you. Ron was right. Stone was definitely the first to release a black IPA, but
Nice.
we have a cooler name for it. So
Damn.
Really? Wow!
No one said what we're drinking yet. We've got a break side. Hang on, come back
I
with the
can
bottle.
smell it. Oh
this
my
is
god!
Legends of the Hidden
Don't go
Temple.
far with that bottle.
Break side. Legends of the Hidden Temple. Vintage
Such a good name.
2023.
I found it.
Oh, mama, that is.
A lot of
Woo!
barrel-aged
Yeah.
It's legendary.
So
aroma.
I know. We started off talking about like, what to look for when you're shopping for this stuff, and obviously got into like sciencey stuff. When you're shopping for things like what we're drinking right now, like a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, there is a huge amount of variance. And some, like generally it's going to be worth your money if you stick to like Ron's like,
It's taking hits off the
Ron's
bottle.
mainlining it.
but yeah, if you're just not sure, anything barrel aged from Breakside is probably just going to be fantastic.
I'd like to see the bottle.
That's
So this
so
is
true.
just another great example of how this beer looks exactly like the beer that we just drank, but
It's darker. It's darker.
they're-
So different.
Yeah, apples and
Yeah,
oranges.
it's a
So-
complex blend.
Totally different. You
Molasses.
Can't judge it by the
Dude,
look.
the molasses for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imperial Stout, aged in maple syrup barrels and bourbon barrels.
Sounds
Seek and enjoy.
correct.
Actually, you can see one of the main differences. Honestly, when you pour six beers like what we have here, like totally different styles of dark beer, one of the main visual differences is actually the color of the foam on your beer. So generally, like the bigger beers that are much more like roasty will have this like dark, almost like milk chocolatey colored foam, and then you might have some that are a bit lighter that just have like a tan kind of foam, and that's usually an indicator of how much dark malt is actually in the beer. So bigger, roastier, chocolatier, more coffee, you might see a darker head of foam on it.
Fun fact: there's more porter than stout in this thing.
There's more porter than stout. Oh, because it's
It's
they
a blend.
Oh, it's a blend.
It's a crazy blend. The Van Winkle barrels and
Jesus.
yep, Heaven Hills, Westward, Elijah Craig. Yeah.
Way to break out a bougie bottle for us,
Yeah,
Ron.
It's really complex. There's
It is.
so much going on.
Off the shelf.
Yeah, like, yeah. Wow, these are just for me now. That's crazy. But yeah, it's like if you're not super familiar with like barrel-aged Imperial Stouts and you're looking at a $22 bottle of beer or however much it might be, some of them can get up to $75 a bottle. There's a lot of things that like go into the price increase, but honestly, when you hear what Ron just said, like Pappy Van Winkle barrels, Horse Heaven Hill barrels, port barrels, maple syrup barrels, all those things cost money, and this beer usually sits for a long time. So if you're a business and you have like an asset sitting in your space that you can't sell for 12 to 24 months, the price really just goes up. And then you have to consider angel share, which is the amount of, all the barrels that these beers are aged in are all porous. And as they expand and contract from the temperature changes, you actually will have liquid evaporate out of these barrels. And so there's even been beers released, a very famous one, it's called Angel Share. And the actual volume of the beer just disappears. So you'll end up with 75% of what you put into a barrel, which also just increases the price. But it also makes the beer rich and delicious and chewy, and this is so good.
It's crazy.
And worth it. Obviously not something you would drink a whole fucking bottle of, but if you're sitting around 4 or 5 of your bestest friends.
With microphones.
Yeah, with microphones.
4 or 5? I don't know.
5.
I mean, yeah, you treat it like a nice bottle of wine. You share it with
That's
people.
pretty much
and
how I
it's-
think.
Yeah.
But honestly, like this, so a $22 bottle of beer is way more enjoyable than a $22 bottle of wine.
Well, yeah.
Like if you want to talk about like experience versus like dollars spent, like you can get a red blend or whatever from like Bevmo for $22, or you can like come to Peaks and buy a bottle of this for probably the same price.
Sort of goes further too.
It
I
does.
mean, bottle of wine, any one of us could take down in a night.
So true.
This might be a little rougher.
It's called Sunday.
It's called $2 Chuck.
Ron 10 Chianti Swarner.
Oh my god.
Probably moving towards fight. Did you say you have a fuck up story?
I do.
All right, illustrious grit and grain guests. Now it's time to throw down on some fuck-up stories. I am Sean Jackson. Challenge flag has been set. Bar is high. Bring it on, fuckers.
Yeah, and it's okay. It's probably not. It's not like a
You have
fuck
to
up.
clear the table.
It's not. I know we do. It's not like a fuck up, but it was kind of fucked up, and it ended really silly. But I do kind of have a fuck up story. And we were talking about split shot earlier in the episode, and so when I was still a buyer at Bevmo. I was receiving, and then the beer buyer at the time still worked there, and he was kind of in the middle of training me to like do all the beer buyer stuff. So I was kind of just getting into everything. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew it was selling really well. I knew it was popular, and Elysian was just popping off at this time. So like Space Dust was in its heyday. Split Shot Stout had like just really started to like get crazy popular, and these are fantastic beers. And so we had heard that Elysian was inviting a group of people to do like a brewery tour at their place, and we me and the beer buyer were not supposed to know this information. It was like a previous employee who told us this, who didn't even work there anymore. So like, I reached out to my Elysian rep at the time and I was like, hey, I heard you guys are doing this. Can I go? Which now in the position I am, I would have been like, wow, fuck no. Like how like obtuse can you fucking be? But like, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, oh, I work at Bevmo and I buy a bunch of your stuff. Can I come and do this thing? And like, without a second thought, they were just like, yeah, sure. Just be here at this time and just come. And so, me and the buyer that I worked with were like, hey, this is hilarious. We like bullshitted our way into like this funny brewery tour. Had no clue what this thing actually was. And so we get there and it's a bus at the distributor place. And we jump on the bus and like everybody's in jackets and like slacks and like very nice like belts and watches. And me and this dude are in like our khaki cargo shorts with our red fucking Bevmologist t-shirts on. And we're like, oh yo, we don't belong on this fucking bus. And we like sit down and it's all of like the executives from like local chain grocery stores and like popular chain restaurants. Like the fucking regional DM VP person from Red Robin was on the bus. The only person even close to like what we were doing was like a bartender, but from the most famous bar on Ocean Shores. And he was like a popular YouTube personality at the time. This was like 8 or 9 years ago. So yeah, we did not fucking belong there. And immediately everybody knew we did not fucking belong there.
You were actually wearing your Bevmo
I
t-shirts.
swear to God, we were actually wearing just Bev. But what I imagine happened is like the person that we asked, the person that we asked if we could go do this, they probably just asked their boss and their boss was like, oh yeah, Bevmo, like it's Bevmo. They should probably be there. But it wasn't us. It wasn't us they were saying should be there. It was like our boss's boss's boss should have been there. So we sit down and we just like are trying to kind of be quiet and like not say anything. But they start passing around bottles and we're drinking like bottles of Immortal IPA and we pull up to the brewery. Everybody's super nice. And it wasn't Dick Cantwell that welcomed everybody. And I wish I could remember the other guys' names, but tall dude, beard, gray long hair. Welcomed everybody and was just like, hey, like we just wanted to do a special thing. Like you guys represent, a huge chunk of our business. And, we've had a really great year and we really appreciate everything you guys do. And so it was just like, oh, cool. Like it's a thank you thing. Like whatever, like we'll just hang out and try to not draw a ton of attention or whatever. And so we do the brewery tour. It's great. We were drinking beer the whole time and it was super fun and it was lovely. And then we went to Elysian Fields, which is their very bougie bar that they have. And they have this sort of like a balcony, like upstairs area. And it was like this open dinner thing. And they were bringing out like oxtail platters and like all this really bougie food. And it was like dinner for everybody. And we like sat over in the corner and we're just like, nobody talked to us. Like, what if somebody asks us about like a business thing? Like, we're fucked. And it was so, we both felt like this and we're adults. Like we could have just been like, yeah, we just asked and we could come. But yeah, we were just like sitting there and eventually everybody was drinking the beer on the thing. And then eventually I asked our server, cause it's an open bar, right? And they were like trying to, just like ham everybody up and it was great. And I knew that Fields was famous for having Pappy Van Winkle bottles all the time. That's where everybody got it. And I was like, hey, do you guys have Pappy Van Winkle here? And she's like, yeah, we sure do. And I was like, cool. Out of curiosity, how much is a shot of that? She goes and asks the bartender and she's like, we have 10, 12, 15, 20, and 21. And I was like, cool, how much is a shot of 21? And she goes, it's $135, which even like, that's not even that bad. Honestly, a lot of people will know. And so we were just like, would it be the shittiest thing ever if we ordered some of those? And she goes, actually, like the higher the bar tab is up here, like the better it looks for us. And so we were like, yo, bring us 2 of those. So at the first, like we felt shitty this whole time. And I don't even know why we decided to do it. I think it was like 1 beer too many, but we were like, yo, please bring us 2 shots of Pappy. So she brought us 2 $135 shots of Pappy Van Winkle. And then like one other guy saw what we were drinking and he was like, what do you guys have there? And we were like, they have Pappy. And then we each got another one.
Oh.
We each got another one before we left. And we both like fucking bullshitted our way onto this stupid bus and then took a tour we were not invited to and then went to a dinner that we should not have been at. And then for some reason thought it would be cool to cap that off with $500 worth of their whiskey. And we like...
The bartender recommended it.
She did. She was like, it's the better it looks for us and whatever. And we both left like nice cash tips.
There you go.
As nice as they could have been for Bevmo employees. But
Guys in their red t-shirts.
So we're like riding home. We're driving home.
Wasn't no 50%,
and we were like,
was it?
We were like, yo, we're so shitty. Like, why would we do that? Like, this local brewery is so nice. Like, they just did this thing and we totally took advantage. And we just like were, being really guilty about it. Fucking 9 days later, the announcement that Elysian was purchased by Anheuser-Busch was posted. And so that was not a thank you, we had a really good year executive dinner thing. That was we all just pocketed millions of dollars in one of the most historically famous buyouts of a craft brewery in history. And you guys are all the reasons why our book looks so good for Anheuser-Busch. Here, have free dinner. And so we were like, the second that news got announced, we were like, fuck you, we took your pappy. We drank $500 worth of your guys' sellout whiskey. Fuck it. Immediately justified it to ourselves.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So we kind of fucked up a little bit, but then it was like whatever.
It didn't fuck up.
Oh, no.
All right, Grit and Grainers, email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and questions such as why do iPhone cameras look like a stovetop? Because Tim cooks. We read and drink everything we receive, and we try to respond as quickly as we can. If not online, then on air. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher, and please leave us a review. Also, check us out on Channel 253, Douglas, and gritandgrainpodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for episode notes, beer news, and wait. We would like to thank those who contacted us asking where the hell Sean Nips Up Blastin' Jackson is. Those who wrote in asking about his status, you should be gilded and licked by angels. We can tell you that Sean is flattered by all the concern and wish you all a long, hard, intensely felt tongue kiss, coupled by a gentle back massage and maybe a nice bottle of expensive sake poured slowly over your tailbone by gangs of moist, dreaming nymphs who can recite Keats while drinking Breakside Legends of the Hidden Temple. We know this because we secretly recorded a session with Mr. Jackson in the Barleywine box, and it will be released on Black Friday. So, right about the time when Sean is at Target groping cheap waffle makers. If this podcast is not what you expected, please alter your expectations. Try my flugelhorn, Charlie Brown. Won't be screening this week, but of course, a Charlie Brown Christmas or Thanksgiving will, with the sad kids can't cook meal of toast, popcorn, pretzels, and jelly beans. Okay, I get the joke. But even if this makes no sense, toast I get, pretzels fine, well, what kid gets to make his own popcorn, especially in 1973? And where the hell does one find jelly beans in November? What? Were these just leftover from the Easter Beagle? Good grief. No such thing as a bad time to visit Tacoma. No such thing as too much barley wine. Tune in next Friday for more sweet chatter. Cheers.
Cheers.
But we didn't drink barley wine today.
Huh?
We didn't drink barley
Well,
wine.
you might as well have.
Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Get up.
Channel 253 is a member-supported podcast network. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I'm asking you to become a member and show your support. Go to channel253.com/membership to join. Thank you. Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Interchangeable White Ladies, Move to Tacoma, Crossing Division, Citizen Tacoma, What Say You, We Are Tacoma, Flounders B Team, and Taco Man.
This is Channel 253.